Simon from simonwoods.com here with 4 more Argentinian wines. The other day I was on Malbec wines. Now we've got some wines here today, 4 of them, and some of them have got some Malbec in, some of them haven't got any Malbec in. Without any further ado, Argento. Argento Malbec. We had the Argento Malbec the other day. This is the Malbec Tempranillo, 2009 vintage. Now Argentina's got a lot of grapes that are there as a result of all the people who've been settled there over the last 150 years. So the French, for example, they would have brought things like, well, Malbec obviously, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and the Italians would have brought some Nebbiolo, some Bonarda, some Sangiovese, and the Spanish who settled there, they would have brought the Tempranillo. This is, I don't know the proportions here, but I know that this is the sort of wine that I don't think it's available retail, but would end up on a restaurant list, hopefully under 15 quid. Is it worth it at that price? Let's have a see. Well, that is a jolly, juicy, gluggable, food-friendly wine. It's not as in your face, maybe not in your face, that is the wrong word. The Malbec was really big and floral and lovely and wanted to wrap its arm around you and give you a kiss. This is a bit more subtle. The Tempranillo gives it, instead of just that blackberry edge, maybe there's a bit more strawberry, a bit more of those red berries coming on here. But at that price, it's the sort of wine that if you have it in it's what I call classic bistro wine. If you're in a place like that, you'd find yourself ordering a second bottle all too quickly. And it's funny, it's been Beaujolais Nouveau week over the last few days, and just this is a 2009 red. I'd much rather be drinking this than quite a lot of the Beaujolais Nouveau, although the Nouveau is good this year. Next one, well the next two actually, if you saw the Malbec video, I was tasting a Malbec from the Riglos winery. This is, now I've got 2 other wines from them. The first one is Cabernet Sauvignon. And the problem I found with the Riglos Malbec was it was almost too much of a good thing. Very ripe, very oaky, and I've watched it over the last, since I opened it. And yes, it's softened a bit, but it's not never got into, certainly not showing anything of the Malbec fragrance that I think the variety really needs. A bit of it, but I get heaviness rather than fragrance. Now this seems a bit, not lighter, it's still sort of knocking on 15% alcohol, but certainly there's a bit more freshness there. I think Cabernet Sauvignon produces wines that are generally fresher and firmer than Malbec. And it'll be interesting to see. I don't notice the oak as much as I did when I was tasting the Malbec. Yeah, I get more, less oak influence there. I think they've been in oak for about the same length of time, both that and the Malbec, about 20 months. But I get that smoky edge from the oak, but the backbone seems to be coming from Cabernet Sauvignon tannins. If I have a problem with it, it's got what I call a skinny character. In other words, grape skins, damson skins, plum skins. And it's almost like someone's pressed those just a little bit too much and extracted just a little bit too much hard flavour and tannins in the process. Yes, I'd still miss some freshness there. I think Cabernet Sauvignon does need to have that little bit of that green edge. Not an unripe green edge, but just something that is herbal rather than herbaceous. Next Riglos wine, it's their top wine I think, the Gran Corte, which is, let's have a look on the back, 17 Malbec, 25 Cab Sauv, and the rest is Cab Franc. It's the tallest, heaviest bottle. So it must be good. Well, I see elements of both the Malbec and the Cabernet Sauvignon here. I see the that bit of plush berry fruit from the Malbec. I see a bit of that Cabernet Sauvignon. Maybe, as I got in that one before, that skinny edge, which makes me think that this is a wine that maybe, again, if I put in my notes TTH, trying too hard, someone is trying to impress here, rather than someone trying to make wines that are really wines that you want to finish the bottle. However, I do find it the best balanced of the three. Yes, it's ripe. Yes, that oak is not shy in coming forward. I think it's been in oak the longest of the three, maybe close to 2 years, whereas the others are like 20 months. What I miss though is fragrance and freshness. I get the characters of both grape varieties. I get that blackberry and a bit of that blueberry edge of the of Malbec. Some of the blackcurrant of Cabernet Sauvignon, but it's blackcurrant skin. It's if you've ever let the skins shrivel out on fruit like that and tasted them, and you chew them, and it's quite difficult to chew them because there's almost too much skin and not enough pulp in the middle. Okay, final one. Talking about skins, this one here is called Enamore. And if that reminds you of the Italian wine Amarone, that is not a coincidence, because it's been made in the Amarone style by Renacer. If you saw the Malbec video, I had 2 of their wines, but made in conjunction with the Valpolicella producer Allegrini. And if you don't know Amarone as a style of wine, what they do is they pick grapes, let them dry out on straw mats, and then make the wine. So a lot of the water is evaporated from the grapes, leaving you with less quantity but much richer flavour. That's the idea here. It's not made with the grapes that they do in Valpolicella. There is a producer in Argentina who also has a place in Valpolicella, Masi. And so they've got a Masi Tupungato, and they do use some of the Corvina and Corvignoni, which they use in Italy. This one I think is Malbec with, 60 Malbec, and then Cabernet Franc, Sauvignon, Syrah Bonada, but made in that style. Let's see if it's as skinny as the Gran Corte. It's funny, it's not. It's fresher and juicier. It feels that if you'd almost have to pick which of the one has got the dried grape skin character to it, you'd almost go for the Gran Corte. The Australians have this term for it. They call it dead grape. I do get a bit of that dead grape character in the Riglos wines. Whereas here I get refreshing acidity. Now acidity, I was in Argentina earlier this year, and I'm talking to one of the guys who works with the Masi wines, and they said, yeah, acidity. Argentinians aren't used to it in their wine. And I think there's some people in other parts of the world for whom acidity in a wine is a negative. I like acidity in a wine. I think I want a wine that leaves my mouth refreshed rather than overwhelmed, and that's what this does. I'm getting plush berries, I'm getting black currants, I'm getting sour cherries, I'm getting hints of almonds as well, but I want to drink more of it. I almost want like a hunk of parmesan or some mature cheddar to have a nibble on in between mouthfuls. Very much a food wine still, but weird. Just thinking about these last 2 wines, I would normally leave an Amarone style wine until the end of a tasting. If I were to do this lineup again, I'd probably do this before the Riglos wines, because I find they are just monoliths, and I'd love to see whether they improve over the next few days, and I'll report back. Because I think this video is not going to be up for a couple of days, so I'll write in my notes underneath the video what I think of them. But at the moment, this is the shining star of this quartet, and this is the bottle that's going to be emptied tonight.